All right.
Not bad.
Now, Vic, what about you? What's happening with you now?
Oh, you want to know what's happening with me, dude? Look, you could do whatever you want to. There's so much sports that I can't cover it all. We don't have enough time. All I can tell you right now, all I can say is that there was a doubleheader yesterday. 2 superstars on the court, Mavericks, Thunder. You got both superstars hitting for 40 plus, and at that moment, who comes out on top? Oh, not me.
The two-headed Vic. It's time for New Sports. Victor Allen, New Sports. Triggy Vic does the Matrix Vic. Got the two-headed Vic and the Matrix Vic.
Yeah, he's helping me. He's helping me. First of all, nobody sees no semblance of the Matrix with that shot.
That's
at
a
all,
Matrix
man.
that does.
He's not even close, man. It's not close. I've seen the Matrix up close, and he's about 10 years old and coming. All right. Hey, you guys, welcome to New Sports. I don't think I could tell anybody anything, man, that's new in sports, man. I just want to find out one thing. And I'm just going to ask you right now. I'm going, all right, you had 2 40-point performances yesterday, Durant and Dirk. Now, before I go anywhere
I never knew I'd be so impressed by someone named Dirk.
That's all right. Dirk is a man. First of all, Mario, what does Dirk remind you of? Larry Bird.
Yes.
Back in the day, that 6'9", shorter, could not stop, and now, just so you know
That's something when a center reminds you of a guard.
Right. The difference
that
with
says
Bird,
something already.
Bird rebounded and did assists and shot like what Dirk is doing and won championships. So when everybody goes Larry Bird, I said, now just you want to picture a Larry Bird kind of a up and coming? This is Dirk to me. But the biggest guy to shoot the outside shot I've ever seen, period. Now, Mark, before I go any further, I would just ask you one question. You've seen one game with Chicago, Miami, one game with Oklahoma.
That's right.
And Mavs. First game, who was the most impressive player, superstar?
Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, so you straight going there?
Yeah. I mean, that's no question. 24 of 24 from the line. First of all, you see how much he gets fouled? You get 24 foul shots.
Right.
That means people are fouling you a lot.
Right.
So he had 24 of 24 from the line.
Right.
Okay. I mean, come on.
Record-breaking
points, everything.
Right.
No. He was just on another planet.
Yes.
And the thing about it is that it really makes you look forward to what you're pretty sure. I mean, let's play this. As much as I see Oklahoma putting up a good fight,
yeah.
Boy, Dallas looks awesome right now.
And let me tell you about the person that is coming out of the rafters, or let's say out of the dungeon, J.J. Barrera. When you score 23 points in about 12 minutes.
What do they call him? They call him the Puerto Rican Allen Iverson. Is he Puerto Rican or Cuban?
Yeah.
Puerto Rican Allen Iverson.
So that's the claim. Although
that's still a compliment.
I know they're going to try to tear it down in some kind of way and say, "What are you trying to say?" That's not a big deal. But let me go over the list here, maybe before you go any further, because I always say sometimes impact is not necessarily total points. So when you pick Dirk Nowitzki first, let me give you the list here so you can kind of do a refresh. Now, let me just say this. First game, most impressive person or superstar, if you want to call them superstars. Not all of them are. Here's the list. Derrick Rose, we already talked about Dirk. Kevin Durant, what you've seen what Kevin can do. 40,
wonderful job, by the way, too.
Yeah, very good. I mean, you can't complain.
Wonderful.
Right? They're going to question whether Westbrook stepped up because he had low percentage shooting, so that probably was the difference. And they were in the game for most of the game. Let me go to the next one. Let me just say this. You got Luol Deng, who stepped up in the Chicago first game. You got Chris Bosh, who everybody said, wait a minute, he was the high scorer on Miami. He had 30 points in that game, and that went kind of transparently through everybody's media frenzy and say, oh, Chris didn't step up. He did, but you didn't give him props. So I'm giving Chris Bosh props. Now you had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade. He
finally had a good game.
He finally did. But look at LeBron and D. Wade, sub-20-point performances. And then, of course, Russell Westbrook. So you're saying Dirk was the man for the first game.
Even though there's been it is the playoffs, so you expect to see a bunch of memorable performances.
Right.
It's the playoffs. There should be memorable performances in every game.
Okay.
So, but Dirk Nowitzki stood off the chart. Now, Kevin Durant, if it wasn't for Dirk, we'd be singing Kevin, Durant, for what he did.
Thank you.
Now, Dang, wonderful honorable mention, too, because he stepped up, been sort of, at times, disappearing. They do much better when he's scoring 20 plus points a game.
Yes.
And of course, Derrick Rose. Some people, okay, Derrick Rose, he too is on a level out there.
Yes.
So by himself, kind of. So it's a wonderful series, even with all the other things. With LeBron, never count out the boys.
Right.
Dwayne Wade he could have a subpar game, which will be 18 points,
right,
or something.
Right.
But he's off the chain.
Yeah, and
in terms of speed and everything. When you watch him still go head to head,
he's good.
When they get to go head to head with each other, he's bringing it like everybody else is bringing it, and it's awesome to watch.
Let me say what I think went missing here. It was so big that the Westbrook phenomena, which is we want him to be a point guard, was trumped by J.J. Barea, who came in off the bench and said, I'm going to show you how a point guard impacts the team. Distribution of ball, also recognizing that people are playing off on me, so I don't have to come in and force assists. You leave me open. You don't have a backup coming off of picks. I'm going straight to the hole. I'm going to shoot my outside shots. To me, he had a greater impact without trying to get other players involved because of the way he plays the game. Point guards, to me, are ones who can recognize the scheme played around them so they can get the most out of it. And his percentage of shooting was so high. I said, so you guys adjust the next game, but now here's the problem. Do you have recovery around a team? When a J.J. Barea comes in, he shakes up everybody's defensive scheme because you really want to play him honest, or do you want to play him like he's a scorer? What would you do, Mario?
Well, I think you could try to. There's a bunch of things to try. Part of the discussion always is how much do you adjust to folks and how much do you play your game. Now, Pat Riley says there is no adjustments.
Right.
Bring your same stuff harder, faster. That's what adjustment. That was one of his quotes.
Right.
What's an adjustment?
Yeah.
Just do everything you do harder, faster,
better,
and better.
Yeah,
and then that's the adjustment.
Got you.
So I don't know that you make any adjustment. It's a matter to me in these games of who's able to step up at that moment.
Right.
I don't think you change. And I think, one thing about Oklahoma, they have to look at themselves and that they need more from certain people because it is the championship.
Yeah.
But again, I don't expect them to panic. They're calm and collected.
Right.
I don't think Westbrook is shaken.
No, I don't.
So I expect Oklahoma to come back and make a really good fight out of this.
Yeah.
Dirk can't do that every game, and the whole question is to look at how they play him, but he can't do that every game. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking on Westbrook. He is who he is, but what it's going to recognize in the team is like anyone else. They say, look, our weakness is that we don't have a true point guard, consistent assist man, well-rounded, that empowers everybody to their best positions to get them to transfer the ball in the basket. One argument going against the players, not Westbrook, is that he did pass the ball. Some didn't convert the point, so I'm not knocking him. And I agree with you.
You also have a point guard capable of scoring 30 or 40 points. So
I
mean, you can have it either way.
Thank you.
No, offense. It's interesting to me. I tell people you can. I get it, but without him,
you wouldn't be there.
You wouldn't be there because he had to take charge.
Right.
To me, the help with the offense.
Right.
So I don't know what to say about that.
Me
to
neither.
me, because that's what the team needs at certain times.
Yeah.
Certainly from them. So.
Well, we're going to go into the game that's coming on tonight, which is the Miami Heat and, of course, Chicago Bulls. And everybody's probably talking about Miami as if it was a moment of what they call, they weren't up for the game, so to speak. And I'm not saying that they were not up for the game. I'm going, the series, including the playoffs, has the Bulls up 4-0. And I believe in matchups. No matter how much you have on paper what D. Wade and LeBron can do, I say certain teams have great matchups against other teams. I think Chicago matches up very well against Miami. Although everybody says when you got three superstars, I said, okay, no problem. The stats speak for themselves. Can small ball play from Miami, because they don't have big man ball, sustain and overcome a weak bench? They don't have a good bench. When their bench is performing, it's outside shots only. So, Mario, do you think they can recover? Which I know you're going to say if you play your best, you should. But I still say that Bulls bring what they call matchup, heat, rebounding, crashing the boards. If you take the big three and have them crash the boards, now you're leaving what they call other spots open for them, which means your big three have to play harder. They have to play both sides of the court. You can wear them down, and you have to give them rest. How would you approach this game if you had to scheme it different, since they were terribly out-rebounded in the last game?
Oh, I don't think, again, this is where I have that opinion. I don't think they need to change anything.
Right.
I think they need to just perform better.
Right.
And that's really all it takes to me. They're certainly capable of rebounding well, to me, against Chicago.
What do you believe?
We will see how. I expect the same thing with the Oklahoma game. Right. I expect to see changes in how the second games come out on both of these.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Both Wade and LeBron, was that a fluke that they both were somewhat prevented from going to the hole, having that freedom to go in there unimpeded? It seems like they kept them out of what they call down in under the rim, that they didn't get that freedom.
No, it wasn't a fluke, but I think that's why this game will be different. When LeBron and Wade decide that is what they're going to do, it is going to happen.
Right.
So that's what you're going to see in this next one. And you've seen LeBron do that before. When they decide that they're taking it to the rim, then it's some powerful shit that goes on. So that's why I said it comes down to me with who wants it more any given moment. It comes down to that, and it really does. So that's why I don't think you change. At this point, you really don't change anything.
You can't really change that much.
You just play harder.
Well, and I'm going to say this so you guys can understand that I don't jump off the bandwagon. I look at matchups and say, to me, I don't know how they saw on paper. To me, I'm just saying this, and I know everybody else is going against it. For the most part, I said you clearly saw that there was a distinct advantage from Miami as it relates over Chicago. And I'm going, excuse me.
That's why I don't like that kind of paper. See, I wouldn't have said that. See, people do. They go, oh, this is, that's, hey, that's that's how we value our commentators, right? By how we claim these matchups. You know, it's because funny, I was just playing some videos from about a month ago. And listening to people talk about how the Lakers were invincible.
I know.
And on paper. I said, yeah, well, this goes to show you that sometimes the other team don't read the paper.
Non-negotiable.
Because if they don't read the paper, they don't go the way the paper said. Because the Lakers got swept. Okay? That was not in the paper.
Thank you.
Okay,
so. I agree. And here's the part that, and going off of this real quick, I think the part that I'm not rushing to judgment here is, and remember, you guys, D. Wade, LeBron, and Bosh, they lost the first game against the Celtics, and it seemed like clearly the Celtics came to play and said, you got a series. And then what was the outcome of that? I don't rush to judgment. I think they'll adjust in this game. I think it will be competitive. And I also think you'll see things where, as the series goes along, I believe the advantage, from me, goes to the Bulls. Because I think they can bring in what they call fresh players off the bench. Now, that's me. Even with the big three playing the best they can, if Chicago's bench, fresh, keeps coming in waves, that means your players will get exhausted. Still, Miami's favorite because, like we said, you said too, paper doesn't convert to reality necessarily all the time. But I see Chicago bringing just waves of players. Now, outside of that, I go, Miami doesn't necessarily have to bring a wave of players, just the same three ones coming like constant and hard. So that's where it's going to come down to, because both of these, the Heat people have shown they can put in minutes anyway. True.
So it's going to, I don't know. That's why I said, for both of those games, I really look.